Welcome to the Holistic Skin Detective. My name is Krystina and I am a holistic skin health practitioner with 20 years experience in helping people find natural solutions to their skin woes. And I'm the creator of the KDC Skin Typing Framework. If you're here, you're probably curious about how to tackle hormonal acne from a truly holistic angle. In each episode, we'll explore the deeper connections between your skin, your hormones, and your environment because healthy skin is so much more than just the surface. So before we dive into today's topic, if you haven't yet discovered your own KDC skin type, you can find a link in the show notes to learn more. And remember, while we explore holistic approaches here, it's always a good idea to have your skin first checked by a qualified medical professional. Now let's get into the heart of today's episode. Hi and welcome. My name is Krystina, also known as the Holistic Skin Detective, and I'm so glad that you're here. This first episode is a little different. It's really an introduction to me, what I do, and why I'm so passionate about this work. This isn't just a space about skin, it's a space about connection to your body, your health, and the environment that we live in. And if there's one thing I've learned in over 20 years of working with the skin, it's this. These aren't separate things, they're deeply woven together. And I think part of the problem is we've forgotten that. We rush, we consume, we look for quick fixes, and all the while our skin is quietly showing us what's really going on. If we slow down and really pay attention, we start to see the nuances between our daily lives, the exposures we live with, and the way that it all shows up, both in our health and in the environment around us. I began this work over 2 decades ago now in my own skin and spa clinic. Back then, people would come and book in for natural facials and treatments. But what struck me was the number of clients that had similar breakouts with similar causes. Clients would sit in my chair and share things like, I've tried everything, the doctor says my blood tests are normal, but I still feel that something is wrong. And I could see it too, flare-ups, sensitivities, breakouts that just didn't match the textbook definitions. At first, I noticed a concerning rise in eczema, and then more recently, I began seeing a surge in what's often labeled as hormonal acne. Working holistically, I take a slightly different approach. I start by observing patterns, then I trace the causes, and only then do I create solutions. And as I kept doing this over and over, I came to a realization that not every case we call hormonal acne is truly about reproductive hormones. When we look deeper, especially through the lens of traditional perspectives, where the skin is seen as a reflection of the body, we discover a much broader story. Sometimes it's about stress, sometimes about diet, sometimes chemicals in our daily products. I've come to view the skin as a roadmap, and my job became learning how to read it. As I dug deeper, another pattern started to emerge. I realized that the very things disrupting the skin were the same things harming our environment. Think about endocrine disruptors in plastic, pesticides in the food chain, pollutants in the air. They don't just damage external ecosystems, we carry them inside of us. They show up in our hormones, in our gut health, and ultimately on our skin. And that was a real turning point for me. I understood that what we do in our homes, the products we choose, the food we grow or buy, these daily decisions ripple outwards. They affect our families, our neighborhoods, and the planet that we all share. So for me, the health of the skin and the health of the earth are really two sides of the same coin. My approach is simple, but I believe powerful. The skin is a messenger. It's not there to be silenced with quick fixes or cover ups. It's there to be listened to. And that's why I help people become their own skin detectives. I bring together tools from many different modalities, from traditional herbal knowledge, aromatherapy, Ayurveda, modern science, energy work, and regenerative philosophy because when we live in alignment with nature, both our bodies and the earth begin to heal. And honestly, this isn't just about clear skin. It's about reconnecting with yourself, with your health, and with the land that you live on. This podcast is where I share resources for what I call modern day skin imbalances. These aren't medical conditions in the strict sense, but those frustrating skin concerns that slip through the cracks, where the blood tests come back normal, yet you know in your bones that something just isn't right. I work in these grey areas where the answers are blurry, and that's the work that I love because there's always a pattern to be found, a thread to pull on, and a story the skin is trying to tell. To make sense of these patterns, I created a framework called KDC. It combines my initials with the idea of skin imbalances and it groups client skin into specific types. At this stage, I've released the most common patterns linked to what we call hormonal acne because there's so much confusion in this space. My aim is to help you cut through the noise and see clearly what's going on. Through this framework, we'll explore how your skin is speaking to you, uncover hidden triggers, and look at how natural, sustainable approaches can shift things, not just for your skin, but for your whole self and for the environment you live in. My hope is that as you listen, you'll not only gain practical tools, but you'll begin to see yourself as part of the bigger picture, one of health, harmony, and regeneration. And maybe as you clear your own skin imbalance, you'll also feel inspired to become an advocate for clean living in your family, your community, and your world. So, thank you for being here. It means more than you know. And let's begin this journey together.